This is Dr.T Vara Lakshmi discussing you the demand forecasting methods as a part of this business economics and financial analysis. So, demand is the willingness about a particular product. Then, estimating the demand for that product in the future is called as this demand forecasting. Then, the demand forecasting can be done in various ways. So, in that, some of the important ways of the demand forecasting estimations, the first thing is passive demand forecasting. So, passive demand forecasting means using the past data regarding the sales of a particular product and estimating the future of that particular product sales is called as the passive demand forecasting. So, this is based on the best suitable best suitable for the seasonal products. So, in the last year summer season, what kind of the products were sold this summer? What should be the sales of that particular product? Last year, winter season, or like this winter season, summer season, or at the Diwali season, or at the festival season, Ramzan, uh, uh, in all these situations, festivals, any of these kinds. So, what it is going to, how this product sales was in the previous, and how much we can expect this year is going. If they estimates, then that kind of the demand estimation is called as the passive demand estimation. So this is the most suitable for the projection of the sales based on the seasonal elements, and the data prevailing for this product for this kind of the demand forecasting is also required more based on the previous ones. The next kind of the demand forecasting is active demand forecasting. So especially this kind of the demand forecasting will do when there is no past historical data exists for the product, or any innovative products is going to be including in the market. So let us say a startup is going to be start in the market. They want to see the present economy conditions. So presently, what the people are requires, growth projections for the market sectors. That is, in future, what kind of the products are going to be have the more demand, and projected cost saving elements, supply chain efficiencies. So if they take the present market conditions into the consideration in estimating the demand for any product, such kind of the estimation is called as the active demand forecasting. Then, based on the time period, the demand estimation is again categorized into two elements. One is the short-term projections, another one is the long-term projections. So short-term projections means just in time, based on the just in time supply chains to adjust the projections based on the real time sales positions. So if for example any business is running up the product lineup that changes frequently, understanding the short term demands, and as well as the it is based on the taste and preferences of the customs or the textile business kind of the elements. So where the demand will be changes from time to time. So within the 6 months, that fashion might be changes. So if that particular product is having a less time span for the market prevails, then that if they estimates, then that is based on that kind of estimation is called as short term projections in the demand forecasting. So not based on within 1 year, more than after 1 year, what kind of the products is going to be having the more demand, and after 1 year, what kind of the economic situations prevails, and after 1 year or the 2 years in a long run period, and what about this resources availability, and what should be the customs, cultures, educations elements. So if they consider all these elements into this consideration, and the focuses on the shaping the business growth projections for the long-term demand meets, then that roadmap is based on the long-term projections. Next one. Next kind of the demand forecasting is external macro forecasting elements. So that is the external business activities. That is, what is the customer's perspective, investor's perspective, competitors' perspective, globalization elements, what is the governmental policies impact on the business. If they take all these macro factors into the consideration, and the resources availabilities, natural disasters, natural elements, if they are able to forecast in the future, then that is called as the external macro forecasting. Instead of that one, if they analyzes the within the business aspects, that is within the business, so what is the availability of these employees, machineries, resources, what is the investor's perspective, and how well the employees are all working, what is their reaction, what is their abilities, skills, and how well they can adaptable for the change management, for the technological changes, and is the investors are all very good at change management or not. Even if the machineries which they have is going to be prevailing for 2 to 3 years of the business running, so business expansional goals, are they going to be give the benefits or not. So all these elements, the internal factors, if they take into the consideration and forecast the demand for the product, then that is called as internal business forecasting elements. So that is the 6 ways of demand forecasting. So based on the past data, they can estimate the demand for the product, or based on the future conditions estimation, future economic conditions estimation, they can estimate the demand for the product. While estimating the demand for the product, they can estimate for a short-term time period, or they can estimate the long-term perspective also. As well as while estimating the demand for the product, they can consider the external macro elemental factors into the consideration, or the business internal micro elemental factors into the consideration. So in any of these ways, they can do the demand forecasting. So that is the types of demand forecasting. Next one, in any of this one, they have to follow certain methods. That is demand forecasting methods. So in this estimation of a demand for the product, there are mainly 2 methods are all there. One is qualitative technique, another technique is quantitative techniques. So qualitative techniques means based on the opinions of the people or the psychological elements considering in estimating the demand for any product, then that kind of technique is called as the qualitative techniques. So qualitatively, or based on the opinions, psychological elements, which we can't touch that reasons, which we can't, that is all based on intellectual elements. So based on that one, based on that data, if the demand is estimating for any product, then it is called as the qualitative technique. Then, based on the quantitative elements, so that is how much of sales has done in the previously. So let us say last year 1000 articles were sold. This year up to how much they can sales. So based on the quantity of the quantity element of this data, if they estimates the future demand of a product, then that is called as the quantitative techniques. So qualitative, both the qualitative and quantitative techniques are all there to estimate the demand for a product. The qualitative techniques are all survey methods, opinion polls. Again, the survey, there are certain elements are all there and under the survey methods. Then, mostly the statistical methods plays a key role in the quantitative techniques. So that is about the two ways or 2 main techniques for the estimation of a demand for the product. So one by one, we'll have the discussion on this one. So as we know that one, the qualitative forecasting is that depends on the subjective opinions from one or more experts. That is based on their intellectual knowledge or intellectual opinions. If it is a quantitative forecasting, it depends on the data and analytical techniques. So the first element will have the discussion on qualitative elemental factors. So under the qualitative elemental factors, one of the ways of the qualitative elemental factors of the demand forecasting is survey methods. So survey methods means to knowing the opinions of the people for the target demand forecasting. So for example, if a person wants to know what should be the demand for a particular product, a beauty care product in the future. So he has to set the objectives first of all. What kind of beauty product it is. So which age group it is targeting, which gender it is targeting, which economy levels of the people it is targeting. So let us say that beauty product belongs to the woman age between 18 to 40, and that too middle income and high income people are going to be using that product. So the population of the woman who is aged between 18 to 40 and belongs to the middle class and above high net worth individuals in a particular locality is let us say there are 5 lakhs number of population is there. So the people can't approach all these 5 lakhs, or if the population is more than that might also. So they can't, it is very costly for them to reach those and get the opinion from all of those people. At that time, what they can do is they can take the samples from that particular areas and they can do the survey based on the opinions, and they can think that this is the opinion from the entire area. So like this, they are approaching the people and asking the opinion from the people. That kind of the estimation of a demand is called as the survey method. So here mainly the data will be collects and the data will be analyzes. So here the customer is approaching by the analysis. So that is, these survey methods are of 3 kinds. One is complete enumeration method. Second thing is sample survey method, and the third thing is end user method. The first method, complete enumeration method, all the potential buyers are asked about their future purchase plans. So potential buyers. So maximum number of the buyers for the target product will be estimates. So that means let us say if the population is 100, out of the 100, maximum 90 potentials are all that 99 or 90 or above 90 people's opinion is going to be collecting, then that is called as the complete enumeration method. That. Second method is sample survey method. So in this one, it is more costly. Complete enumeration method is more costly as that one. So they can't reach 90. But in this 90, similarly, identically, 45 members are all unique, and 45 members opinion is there for this remaining 55 members. If they collect the data from 45, the same opinion might be, or the same may be equivalent to the 100 members. Which means, so they are all convincing the samples and they are all applying the opinion of these 45 members opinion as the opinion of this 100 members. So again there are some methods are all there. Sampling method based on these market conditions, convincing sampling, random sampling, average sampling. So like this various methods are all there. But in all these ones, if they target a small group of population and applies the opinion of this small group for the entire population, then that method is called as the sample survey method. But the sample survey method is more suggestible whenever the population size is high. If the population size is low, it is better to go for the complete enumeration method. Then, if the mediation of that product usage is more, that is the using of that product consumption level is more, number of the people are there, then at that time it is better to go for the end use method. So that means finally who is using that product. So they won't take any information from the salespersons or the middle persons, retailers or the wholesalers. They'll see who is the end user of that product, final user of that product. Is it is using by the industry or any customer? So based that, if that people only targets for the estimation of the products demand in the future, then that is called as end use method. So any of these survey methods, they can approach the people face to face or through the online, through the telephone or through the paper surveys. So there are so many ways of approaching the customers are all there, and so many ways of the survey methods are all there. So these are all the methods they can use. If not, if they can go for the second method of the qualitative method, that is opinion poll method. Opinion collection from the, again, opinion collection is categorized into two elements. One is collecting the opinion from the middleman or the distribution channels, and opinion collection from the experts. So first thing is opinion collection from the distribution channels. That is, so who is the retailer, whoever is the wholesaler, whoever is the traders are all there, because they will only more close to the customers. Then based on their opinions, if they estimates the future demand of a product, then that is called as opinion poll method. Instead of that one, if an market expert's opinion is going to be collecting to estimate the future demand of a product, then that method is called as the expert opinion method, which is also called as Delphi technique. Here, a questionnaire, a series of questions, open-ended, close-ended, both all the kind of the questionnaire questions will be frames regarding a particular product, and that experts will ask this series of questions, and based on his answers and with the suitable reasons are also. So with suitable reasons are also have to give the opinions. So based on his opinion, if the demand for any product will be estimates, then that is called as the demand forecasting based on the expert's opinion method. So in my opinion, it is the fastest and cheapest technique for any producer, but it might it is based on one person's opinion. Instead of that one, the best method is going for the opinion of the middleman, and even the middleman may give the real data or not. But if it is not up to that level, then it is better to go for the survey methods. That is, the end users, the users or the expectors will give, there is a chance to give their real opinion regarding the product, and they can easily estimate the future demand of that particular product. So these are all the qualitative wise we have collected. Next, qualitative wise, one of the drawbacks is mostly the people may gives the real data, real opinion, or may not gives their real opinion. So that's way it is better to go for the some of the quantitative supportive data for the estimation of a demand for any product. So that quantitative elements are based on historical data, time series modeling, correlation analysis, ARIMA, like statistical elements they'll take into the consideration, than the opinions from the one person or the consulting person or the market surveys. Instead of that one, they can go for the quantity of the data which they have in their hands. So in that quantitative data, the first and foremost element of the demand forecasting is time series analysis, scheduling. So time series analysis means year by year, season by year, season by season, or what is the growth in a particular product demand and how it is going to be in the future. So best example is the COVID cases in the estimations. So uh, the people are estimating that in the month of the May, June, there will be a more cases, and again by the month of the October it will reaches to the peak stages. So like this, they're all estimating. So based on the historical data, they are all estimating this year. They can estimate for the next year. So that is seasonal wise, trend wise, usage wise. If they take the past data into the consideration time to time, and they can, if they applies this same growth levels, fluctuation levels to the next year, then that will be called as time series analysis. So this time series analysis consists of four components, that is seasonal variations, that repeats over a certain period such as day, week, month, etc. Or they can take this trend projections, trend, so that is long term increase or the short term decrease. What is the linearly, non-linearly, what is the trends, or how the trends are all changing, and cyclical variations, cyclical patterns, like what is the rising factors or the slowdown factors, and what is the fixed time period for this raising of the any sales of the product, or the reductions, what in which situations it is going to be reducing. So like cyclical variations and random variations, so that do not fall under any other about three classifications. So randomly, so at what kind of the product, they'll see, randomly means which randomly they'll pick among this entire situations and entire time periods which is not prescribed by the previous data analysis. So they'll take the random data into the consideration and they'll estimate that one. So in any of these four methods, they can choose for the time series analysis. So this time series, after the collection of the data, they can apply the simple moving average method techniques, or exponential smoothing techniques, auto-regressive integration moving average techniques, or neural networks based methods. So any of these methods they can apply on this data which is collected from seasonal variations, trend projections, cyclical variations, and random variations, and they can estimate the future demand for any product. So that is the time series analysis under the demand forecast. The next one is smoothing techniques. So smoothing techniques is called as a statistical approach to the database. So that is simple. All these techniques like time series analysis. Here is also the data is collecting, and on an average, how the sales are all increasing average wise, or what is the correlation between one element to the another element. So let us say if the product X sales are all increasing, then what is happening to the product Y sales? So what is the correlation between the X and Y? So what is this time period correlations are also? So last year, what is the investments and what are the returns, and this year what are the investments on the production, what is the returns on this one. So like this comparative time analysis. So very easy and easily understandable techniques in data analysis are all called as data smoothing techniques. So again, these data smoothing methods are all of four elements: simple exponential methods, moving average methods, random walk methods, and exponential moving averages. So here in this statistical approach, simple exponential one means, so the data is collected, let us say for the sales of a X product, they have taken into the consideration. Last year, what are the sales? This year, what will be the sales? Based on this growth projections or the graphical representation, if they produces, then that is called as the simple exponential techniques. Moving average techniques means, so what are the time breaks for the growth and what are the time breaks for the declining? So if they takes this time breaks into the consideration, then it is called as moving average method. And instead of that one, randomly, so in a particular week or in a next particular week at a particular point of time, so what are the sales projections of the particular product, if they take into the consideration, then that is called as random walk. So the next thing is exponential moving average means, if the big data is unavailable, so max a lot of data is available regarding the sales of that product, then all that data, the peak stages and the lowest stages and average stages segregates, then that is called as exponential moving average. So like this, based on the target element, if they analyzes the sales or projection of the any product demand in the near future, then that method is called as data smoothing. Next method of the quantitative demand forecasting is barometric technique. So here the barometric technique, they'll take the entire changes in the overall economy conditions and that changes applicability in the future trends on the index is called as the barometric technique. So barometric, so it's a considerable measurement. So let us say, so what is the previous economy condition? So to the national income, what is the gross domestic production, what are the exports of the country and imports of the country, so the previously, and what are the changes in this year? So technology is improved, then what it will be have its impact on the exports of the country and imports of the country, and what kind of the products may get maximum attention related to this particular economy conditions. So in this health hygienic conditions, what kind of products, the products which is going to be improving more immunity may get maximum benefits. So what already for the Ayurveda products before the COVID situations, what are the sales this year? What are the sales for the dry fruits or the Ayurveda products? And next, what it will be. So like this. So if the changes in the overall economic conditions and if they take into the consideration, that type of analysis is called as barometric method. So the next method of the demand forecasting estimation is statistical methods like trend production methods as well as the regression analysis. So regression analysis means the trend projection methodology means, so sufficient accumulated past data of the sales is taking into the consideration and they are all arranging in a chronological order. That means, so they are segregating again that statistical data. They won't take only the sales data into the consideration. What are the purchases, sales and profits, and they'll segregate this one. So previously we have seen they'll take this past day sales data only. So out of this sales, what is the cost of the goods and what are the profits, and with this sales, what is the profit levels, is it increased or not? So if they see time to time basis, then it is called as the trend projection method. Instead of that one, in this the sales to the profit, if they gives a mathematical relationship, the relationship existing with the sales and profits as well as cost of the production, if they creates a mathematical expression or a linear expression and they'll studies that implications on that one, then that analysis is called as the regression analysis. So regression equation, that is y is equals to a plus b and x, that is sales might be equals to the cost plus a certain constant factor into profit levels. So they can take this into the consideration. So like this, for any projections, if they create some mathematical expression between the relationship of the variables in that estimation, then that is called as the regression analysis. So they can use either trend projection or the regression analysis. So these are all the methods of the demand forecasting. So based on that qualitative and quantitative methods, they can estimate the demand of a product and gives the best analysis for the production policy making, sales policy making, price fixations, and internal and external elements analysis of any business. So thank you.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.